So the question I guess I would have is do we see this as being a, buy signal right now, or is it possible like historically I'm looking back at was that 2020 where you kind of had a double dip, right? Where we kind of almost came back down to those lows. So are we maybe at that first spot, maybe a breakout of 31,000 could occur in Bitcoin, but then you get that kind of double dip at some point?
Hello and welcome to Crypto Street, where we bring you the latest and most intriguing stories from the world of cryptocurrencies. In today's video, we'll be unraveling the secrets of Bitcoin's future. But before we jump into that, let's take a look at some recent developments in the cryptocurrency market. Standard Chartered raises Bitcoin price forecast. Now expects BTC to reach $50,000 this year, $120,000 next year. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF application takes surveillance to the next level. Crypto market remains in Bitcoin season as altcoin season drought hits record 2-year mark. Biggest movers? MATIC is up 8% as Sol nears fresh 2-month high. Child-focused Egyptian fintech startup secures $1.5 million in funding. FTX former executive Salemi caught in federal campaign finance probe. Binance capitalizes on the new social networking platform Threads, surpassing all competitors and credited to its fun and authentic content strategy. The European Commission has outlined a comprehensive strategy to navigate the transition toward Web 4.0 and the metaverse, aiming to empower citizens, support businesses, and shape global standards. Rodeo Finance, an Arbitrum-based DeFi protocol, has suffered another significant exploit, losing $1.53 million due to a code vulnerability in its Oracle. Bitcoin ATMs are numbered as UK financial watchdog cracks down. Dubai crypto exchange Bitoices loses license over unmet VRA conditions. Now let's begin our enlightening discussion with Gareth Soloway.
One thing that kind of jumped out at me just, I think it was a week or two ago when we heard that MicroStrategies had bought another 100,000 plus Bitcoin. And the reason why that jumped out at me is I was a little bit concerned that price didn't go up more with that big of a buyer in the market. And the question is, if it didn't go up more when they were buying that much, who was selling into them? And again, I not that I'm not going to pretend that I know, but it is, kind of the same along the same lines of, when you have good news and something doesn't go up. I mean, we had the ETF news for the spot market, and we didn't see a breakout above 31,000 yet. Now, maybe it still happens, but these are little things that I kind of just am saying, that's kind of interesting on a price action. Now, again, the bulls are gonna say, hey, it's gonna happen, and long term, I believe it will. But again, that's just something that I'm kind of a little bit concerned about when it comes to Bitcoin in the near term. The price action hasn't been, breaking out above this level.
The inclusion of an information sharing agreement in BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF application has sparked discussions about the potential impact on the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's SEC decision-making. This agreement flips the power dynamic by giving regulators the ability to demand additional background information from the exchange, rather than relying solely on surveillance sharing. Information sharing agreements allow regulators and ETF providers to pull data from the exchange, including specific trades and personally identifiable information, PII, of customers. While this approach raises concerns about privacy in the crypto community, it is seen as necessary for the success of the ETF. The SEC has emphasized the need for surveillance sharing agreements in previous Bitcoin ETF applications, but the inclusion of an information sharing agreement adds another layer of oversight from regulated markets. This structure, familiar in equities markets, allows regulators to request more information about traders and their trading history. The combination of surveillance sharing and information sharing is seen as a crucial factor in the approval of Bitcoin ATS.
Prices actually of Bitcoin has moved higher. Obviously, alts have gone lower in general. But also the thing that I would kind of take note of is that it doesn't look like we're at the levels that we saw in 2019 and 2020 yet. We still have further downside to go as well. And the first thing that jumps out to me would be saying, okay, well, during those periods, you had quantitative easing, right? So there was Federal Reserve printing money, interest rates were lower. We now have a scenario where we're still above that level, those bottoms, but we have liquidity being sucked out of the market. So in the very least, if it was just me, I would say, likely that social index should get down to those lows, if not go a little bit lower than what we saw then because of the lack of liquidity.
Bitcoin BTC moved back above the $31,000 level in today's session as the US dollar weakened across the board. BTC/USD surged to an intraday peak of $31,026.08 earlier in today's session, which comes after dropping to a low of $30,156.54 on Monday. Price has since slipped, dropping as volatility in the market remains high ahead of tomorrow's inflation report from the United States. Looking at the chart, the decline came as the relative strength index, RSI, failed to jump past a ceiling at 61.00. At the time of writing, price strength is tracking at 58.96, with the next visible point of support at 55.00. The 10-day red moving average has edged even closer to its 25-day blue counterpart, increasing the chances of a downturn. Ethereum ETH briefly rose over the $1,900 zone in today's session after nearly falling below $1,800 in recent days. After hitting a low of $1,860.62 to start the week, ETH/USD rallied to a high of $1,905.46 on Tuesday. However, like Bitcoin, Ethereum has since shifted lower as the cryptocurrency consolidated for a fifth straight session. As of writing, ETH is trading at $1,870.15, with the RSI at a reading of 50.43, which is marginally below a ceiling at 51.00. In the event the index is able to rise above the 51.00 zone, there is a strong possibility that Ethereum will be back over $1,900.
The alts at some point will be able to figure out their valuations once we get clarity from the SEC, right? And so the SEC will say, okay, these are the rules. And then all of a sudden, big money will be able to start valuing these things. And so whether, the market caps on a Matic should be 5 billion or 25 billion or maybe 50 billion, we don't know yet because, again, we don't know what the real valuations are. But that will become clear. And my guess is at that point, that's where the value really starts to. And by the way, that's actually a good thing. Like investors need to understand that any sort of additional information that these coins can give us makes them the clarity and the transparency much better, which allows us, even as retail investors, to say, okay, I think I should pay here for this versus where it was before. And I think that's important for us. Yeah, I think that's what's so cool about the dominance chart or any of these charts is that generally they still abide by the technicals of what an Apple chart will do or anything. And I think that's always been the big question for people, at least when they come to me. They're like, well, you've always traded stocks. What makes this work on cryptocurrencies, or what makes it work on commodities, or what makes it work on dominance? And the beautiful thing about it is that technical analysis isn't about the specific asset. It's about the people that are trading the asset. And if you go back to I don't know if you know much about the tulip mania in the 1500s, Ben, but I mean, the same greed that drove, people literally were buying homes for one bulb of tulips, like one tulip. That's how crazy it got, which, again, that greed is the same greed that helped the dot-com bubble create, the housing bubble in 07 leading to 08, the crypto bubble where we saw shit coins and everything go up like crazy. It's the same thing. And so when you're charting things, as long as you have human participants, now you can get into AI and what happens then, who knows, but human participants, it should behave the same way.
That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.